Welcome all to the National Conference on Resilient Infrastructure organized by Kerala Highway Research Institute and IIT Palakkad. Today, in this inaugural ceremony, we are blessed with the presence of Sri G. Sudhakaran sir, Honorable Minister for Public Works and Registration, to inaugurate this session. We also have Sri Anand Singh sir, Secretary PWD. We have Professor Sunil Kumar, Director IIT Palakkad. We have Srimati Madhumati KR, Chief Engineer Design PWD. We have Dr. Tom V. Matthew, Professor IIT Palakkad. We also have Sri Thomas John, Joint Director KHRI in this function. This program is streamed live through www.ncri.khri.org and also through the Facebook page, official Facebook page for our minister. Without further ado, I welcome Srimati Madhumati KR, Chief Engineer Design PWD, for the welcome address.
Respected Honorable Minister for Public Works and Registration, Sri G. Sudhakaran, Secretary PWD, Sri Anand Singh IAS, Director IIT Palakkad, Professor Dr. Sunil Kumar, Professor IIT Palakkad, Dr. Tom V. Matthew, dear colleagues, delegates on and off the dais. It is a matter of great pride for me today to stand before you for this inaugural ceremony. The initial concept for a national conference was put up to KHRI by our Honorable Minister some time back. From that day, we have been working tirelessly towards this day. For elevating the quality of the program, KHRI has associated with IIT Palakkad, one of the premium institutes in India. Initially conceptualized as a physical conference, and all arrangements were on the way for it to be conducted in May 2020. However, due to COVID, we forced to change schedules and limit them to an online conference. Nevertheless, it is a proud moment for PWD to organize this conference in association with IIT Palakkad. Without further ado, let me move on to my duty here to welcome the delegates. First and foremost, it is my honor to welcome Sri G. Sudhakaran, Honorable Minister for Public Works Department, to this inauguration ceremony. Welcome, sir. I welcome Sri Anand Singh IAS, Secretary for PWD, to this function. I welcome Professor Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director IIT Palakkad, to this ceremony. I also welcome to this function Professor Dr. Tom V. Matthew, Professor IIT Palakkad, who has our biggest support from academia. I also welcome all the participants, delegates of this conference, and all audience both offline and online who have tuned to watch this important milestone of PWD. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I welcome Sri Anand Singh sir, IAS, Secretary PWD, for the presidential address. Sir, you can unmute and talk.
Honorable PWD Minister Sri G. Sudhakaran sir, IIT Palkar, KHRI and PWD units. I am happy to participate in this national conference on infrastructure. As you are all aware, PWD is moving ahead with its motto of Putiya Kalam Putiya Nirmanam. In the new age, we should adopt new technologies to implement infrastructure works within the PWD. Our Honorable Minister has been very particular in adoption of new technologies in PWD, be it in buildings, be it in bridges, be it in road pavements, road maintenance. With this aim, we aimed at upgrading KHRI into a center of excellence. And we decided to have 5 thematic areas to develop capabilities within KHRI to meet both the technological requirements and the institutional arrangements in these 5 areas. The 5 areas were innovation in design and construction practices, road asset management, road safety, quality assurance and contract management, and promoting indigenous R&D. As we all know, Kerala has a very specific geographical structure. Many of the codes or the designs that are stipulated by the IRC are very relevant in Kerala, particularly in buildings, because most of the structures we have to go for piling. Even under road pavements, we have almost 7-8 months of rains in a year. So the pavement structure and all. So we have to develop indigenous technologies to meet our technological requirements. So I am very happy that today's national conference covers at least 2 of the thematic areas that KHRI want to develop, that is innovation in design and construction practices and promoting indigenous R&D. And in today's conference focusing on infrastructural planning, soil mechanics and foundation, transport system, pavement system, all these are very relevant to our state, and we have to develop indigenous capability to tackle these technological problems. We are very happy to associate with IIT Palkar. We have been coordinating with them for a lot of our needs. Lot of bridge designs and all, we keep giving it to IIT Palkar. Any challenging task comes, we refer it to them. Earlier we used to refer to IIT Chennai, now IIT Palkar is within our state, so lot of our requirements we can outsource to them. And we are very happy that KHRI is coordinating with IIT Palkar to do these things. We'll request that we want, as I mentioned, that KHRI wants to have chairs in these 5 thematic areas. We are looking for expertise in these thematic areas and how we can liaison with, coordinate with, have collaboration with technological institutions and other research institutions which have capability, and have a long-term association with them to meet these challenges. As part of the flood works, we are getting funding from World Bank and German Bank KfW for reconstruction of roads which are climate resilient, and many of these if we follow as written for them, we are trying to follow them to be prepared for these roads, and we are looking to implement even recently with the new technology of road pulling of the pavement, we are going to construct a road similarly we are using extensively. Plastic use we are using extensively. So these things, the technical collaboration and the expertise and the new technologies that are coming up, the Ncri is always eager to adopt it, and I am sure that today's national conference will come up with ideas that will be implemented with PWD to meet our aim of Kudiye Kalam, Kudiye Nirman. And we'll go ahead and have collaboration with major institutions and experts to bring these strengths within the PWD structure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Professor P.B. Sunil Kumar, Director IIT Palakkad, to deliver a felicitation to this inauguration of National Conference for Resilient Infrastructure 2020.
Honorable Minister for PWD Design, Srimati Madhumati K.R. Director KFRI Thomas John, my colleague Professor Tom Matthew, other researchers, professors, students and engineers of PWD. Good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to actually be part of this meeting today on resilient infrastructure for Kerala, the national conference in that, jointly organized by IIT Palakkad and PWD. The relevance of this meeting, I need not elaborate on. All of us know, especially having gone through the last 2-3 years of floods, you know what the importance of this is. But anybody who has grown up in Kerala will definitely know the importance of building resilient infrastructure, the need of that, and developing new technologies for that. This is the importance of this. We all want to make this part of the action. It's highly welcome that such a conference is organized by practitioners on the field like PWD and academic institutions like IIT. Extremely welcome. That way we are able to bring the best scientific program, the progress of technology and science, to the knowledge of people who are actively and similarly a feedback on the requirements from the people, the difficulties facing people, actors, engineers, scientists, and innovators. So that sense, this is an extremely important collaboration. Very, very achievement. I congratulate the Honorable Kerala, PWD, and my colleagues in the next part of that. IIT Palakkad, as you all know, started with our facility, and we are in a rapid phase of expansion. We have already the campus now, and we are building on our all the in fact, the team of this conference was very much into that we are both geotechnical engineering, infrastructure, testing infrastructure, structural engineering, everything is part of our association. In fact, we are building one of the best, maybe the best, the most advanced testing facility, so infrastructure testing facility in our campus. We have already started construction on that. This will be a 25 crore facility for testing. And we are building this facility. Similarly, we are building infrastructure for other areas, facilities that are operating in cost. And we are building this not just to be a testing center, but to be a major research center and an innovation center. We are also starting. We just started a new innovation center which is being set up in collaboration with other institutions and industry, and we most welcome PWD to be part of that innovation center so that we will meet the requirements which Sri Anand Singh just mentioned. So we would be very, very happy to take up problems which are relevant for innovation through this center and also through research through our natural or normal research programs. IIT Palakkad has already been interacting with PWD. We have already done one short-term course on roadway materials design and construction for PWD. We are running a research project on sustainable and resilient environment-friendly solutions for hill road design. And now we have this conference. I'm sure we will continue to work on this. We will have more and more such programs, and we will collaborate on innovation and research, because that is one of the themes on which we are building. That unlike old generation the first generation IITs, the new IITs are actually a mandate to be part of the development of the region, the nation, and then the world. So it goes in that structure. So everything begins from the region. So we are very keen on participating with the government of Kerala and any other institutions in this region and institutions like PWD in developing good infrastructure, and whatever needs to be done for that, we'll be very happy to take it up. And with this words, I wish this conference a very successful time in discussing problems and finding solutions for building resilient infrastructure in Kerala. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Sri G. Sudhakaran sir, Honorable Minister for Public Works, for releasing the conference proceedings. I also invite Sri Beena ma'am, CEO KRFB, for receiving the first copy of the proceedings. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Honorable Minister for Public Works, Sri G. Sudhakaran sir, for the inaugural address.
President of this National Conference on Resilient Infrastructure 2020, PWD Secretary Sri Ncri, Chief Engineer, Kerala Highway Research Institute in the Senate, Srimati Mathemati, Director IIT Palakkad, Professor P.B. Sunkumar, Dr. Tom B. Matthew, Professor IIT Palakkad, Sri Thomas John, Joint Director, KHRI, Chief Engineer Srimati Beena. Friends, I wish to congratulate Srimati Madhumati KR and her teammates for organizing this national level conference, which highlights the functions of Kerala Highway Research Institute and the steps to be taken on resilient infrastructure building. The motto of this government is Pudiya Kalam, Pudiya Nirmanam, which roughly translates to new age, new constructions. With this idea in mind, I have asked KHRI if we can arrange a research conference. Immediately, KHRI took up the lead and partnered with one of the finest academic institutions in India, the Indian Institute of Technology, Palakkad. Today, Kerala Highway Research Institute of the Public Works Department is embarking on a new milestone in this direction by organizing this national conference on resilient infrastructure. Ncri 2020, in association with IIT Palakkad, and I am immensely delighted to inaugurate this first national conference on resilient infrastructure. This national conference is a reflection of the government's policy to improve the quality of work and promote innovation in construction using the latest technologies. It is a matter of pride that KHRI is taking the lead role for initiating such a venture by hosting the first edition of this national technical conference. As we all know, our state has been struggling through various natural disasters such as fierce flood, landslides, cyclone for the past few years. Unexpected events led to severe impact on property, infrastructure and lives and livelihoods of the people. The 2018 floods and landslides affected 1/6 of the state's population. About 5.4 million of people were affected, while 1.4 million were displaced from their homes. Since Kerala's ecosystem is highly sensitive to the vagaries of the changing climate, it is pertinent that we come together on building a future that is resilient to climate change. This idea is to design and build infrastructure such as rail, roads, airports, bridges that would have a reduced impact in the wake of a calamity. However, during such a development, we need to place utmost importance for making these concessions as eco-friendly as possible. This is a challenging task for my civil engineer. For achieving the best results, it is important that a collaborative effort is required from the practicing engineers and academic researchers. Currently, these two parts of the civil engineering fraternity stay mostly disconnected. A very little crossover is happening from research to field or from field to research. There are many research findings, excellent research findings, which go unnoticed in some academic library without seeing the light. There are also many researchers with good research interest struggling to find a practically relevant topic. It is in this context that this conference holds its value. This national conference on resilient infrastructure can become a platform for uniting, bridging the research community with the community of practicing engineers. Therefore, our state's 8 demographic highlights that we are a youth-driven state as 65% of the population is below 35 years, and therefore it becomes imperative to provide them with a platform for generating and exchanging knowledge from experienced practitioners. The Ncri 2020 conference will provide a collaborative environment to present, discuss and leverage current insights on planning and development of resilient and sustainable infrastructure. I believe that PWD will gain valuable insight from topics presented at this conference, and it will be very beneficial to PWD engineers for implementing good quality infrastructure in Kerala. This conference is just one among many activities that KHRI has undertaken in these past few years to improve the quality of engineers and the construction industry as a whole. During the lockdown, KHRI has conducted over 70 online training sections, inviting top academicians and industrial experts. More than 30,000 participated in this online training from all over India and abroad. Activities like these have given recognition for this institute in the civil engineering community all across India. Also, in its strive to ensuring quality in construction, KHRI is progressing fast in its path to become first national accreditation board for testing and calibration laboratories, accredited civil engineering material testing laboratory under the government of Kerala. It is a government vision to implement NABL accreditation in all 14 district quality control laboratories. Once accredited, KHRI can guide the department in achieving this vision. KHRI is also selected by the World Bank for becoming the center of excellence in road sector, thereby become the apex body for any technical difficulties faced by our field engineers. With all these activities, KHRI is finding its position in the global arena of civil engineering. I am also happy to reveal that under this present government, led by Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Chief Minister, with a development vision, PWD has the opportunity to invest 1,05,608 rupees in this construction field alone in Kerala for the last 4.5 years. With the help of this investment, we are building 547 bridges in Kerala, without saying the very important construction of roads and other buildings. So the construction of bridges has become a very important portfolio of PWD because Kerala is filled with rivers, lakes, canals and all kinds of water bodies. In a place called Kutanad, this place is also a part of Kutanad, but the real Kutanad is some 2 kilometers eastward. There are not much roads apart from 2 important roads, Alapi, Jangasiri and Amparapati. So waterways are very important. We are building 64 bridges in that type of alone. So this kind of building under the banner, new concessions at new times. We want very good technology. Experienced technology and new technologies that will long live, that will outpass times. So this kind of conference, we are giving very much importance for the valuable knowledge to be disseminated here. Then that should reach our engineers, and the public should also know what kind of changes are going on in the construction field. So its conference is very important. With this, I extend my warm greetings and felicitations to participants, members of the organizing committee, especially to the team from KHRI and IIT Palakkad, including the director and the professors, taking the initiative to organize this conference. First edition of Ncri 2020 should be a foundation. KHRI should take special care to continue this as an annual event. I believe in the coming years, Ncri will transform itself into an internationally recognized and sought after conference. With these words, I wish you all success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Tom B. Matthew, Professor, IIT Palakkad, to deliver an overview of the conference.
Honorable Minister, distinguished dignitaries of the inaugural function and delegates of the conference. It's my privilege and pleasure to present an overview of this conference. KHRI last year mooted the idea of this conference with the patronage of the Minister, and we contacted our director, and who has graciously agreed that IIT Palakkad will be a scientific partner of this conference. With that support, we initiated formation of a scientific committee with the chairs from outside our state, so that it becomes truly a national conference, and with co-chairs from the faculty of IIT Palakkad and members from various academic and research institutions and PWD. The committee then decided 4 themes: infrastructure, payment, geotechnique and transportation, with focus on the special conditions of Kerala. And then last year we invited abstracts with wide publicity and received more than 175 abstracts. And these abstracts were reviewed by the scientific committee and shortlisted about 150. And these authors were invited to submit full papers. Our original plan was to conduct the conference in May, but due to lockdown, we postponed, and thankfully we are able to do it in an online mode with the support of all the authorities. And then we requested full papers, and we received around 75 technical papers, and each of these papers were reviewed by more than 2 reviewers. And based on the feedback, 52 technical papers were selected for presentation and including into the conference proceeding. The conference will begin today with 2 days, and after this inauguration, there will be 6 sessions covering infrastructure, payment, geotech and transportation, and each session will have about 8 to 10 papers with about 15 minutes for each delegate to present, and there will be time for all the other delegates to interact and ask questions. And each session will be chaired by one of the eminent faculty of IIT Palakkad. With this I conclude my words, and wishing all the success to this endeavor, and hoping many more editions of this conference in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite our Chief Engineer, Srimati Madhumati ma'am, to present a memento as a token of appreciation on behalf of KHR, National Conference for Resilient Infrastructure, to our Honorable Minister, Sri G. Sudhakaran sir. Now I request our Honorable Minister Sri G. Sudhakaran sir to present a memento to IIT Director Sri Sunil Kumar sir. On behalf of Sunil Kumar sir, I request Dr. Tommy Matthew sir for accepting this memento. Now I request Now I welcome Sri Thomas John, Joint Director, Kerala Highway Research Institute, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected Honorable Minister for Public Works and Registration, Sri G. Sudhakaran Sir, PWD Secretary, Sri Anand Singh IAS Sir, Professor and Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director IIT Palakkad, Professor Dr. Tommy Matthew, IIT Palakkad, Chief Engineer Srimati Madhumati Ma'am, KRB CEO Srimati Albina, and all the delegates, all colleagues, and all participants in and off the dais. I take this opportunity to really thank our Honorable Minister, and he was really the visionary of this conference. In 2020 January, he gave a direction for us to conduct a national level conference in such a fashion to collaborate, to blend, to bridge the gap between the academic research and the practical implementation of the activities of PWD. And in fact, right from January till December today, we went through a rigorous process of planning various things, and all through these days, he was just like a mentor and supporting us, guiding us, and giving all the directions till today. So from the depth of the heart, I want to express thank you, sir, for this wonderful time, and thank you for your kind message and the encouragement. Next, I have to thank Sri Anand Singh IAS, our Honorable Secretary, and he used to be very proactive and very supporting in clearing all the issues connected with the KHRA and PWD, when very quick and fast. In all the way, all through the days, not only for this conference, in all other activities, connecting even Center of Excellence and all other activities, he was, used to be very proactive and helpful. And I take this opportunity to say thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of Ncri. And Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director IIT Palakkad, when we first contacted Dr. Sunil Kumar sir, very happily and proactively he accepted our consent, and he agreed for this conference, and he gave all the support from the department, and in every sense he was a total support and behind this new venture, and we are doing it for the first time, as you know, and he was a very strong support behind us, and I really thank you, sir, for this support and for participation in the opening ceremony. So Dr. Tommy Matthew, as you know, he used to visit our Trivandrum head of administrative campus, his office, and we used to meet him many times over Palakkad IIT. And he was all through the mentor behind us, all through the hard work he put, and he and along his colleagues, other faculty member and everyone. And we want to thank you, sir, for your all support. And as you know, our Chief Engineer Madhumati Ma'am was all through the days, and her continuous follow-up was a very strong help for us, and she was our strength behind us. And I express this time for her all support and attending this opening ceremony. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Bina ma'am, for visiting us, be present in this opening ceremony, and being the hectic duties of the CEO of KRFB, I visited the site, and so we express our thanks to you, ma'am, for all your support. And at this time, I express my thank you for all the faculty members of IIT Palakkad, all the research assistants, and the team IIT as a whole together, and team KHRI all together, and many engineers and colleagues of PWD, and everyone who assisted in the physical arrangements here and online, attending online, and I express my thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. By this, the inaugural ceremony for National Conference on Resilient Infrastructure 2020 is concluded. The paper presentation will continue in the afternoon session, and tomorrow morning and afternoon session. For more details, you can visit www.ncri.khri.org.